In this video, I'm going to talk about the Claude to Asana MCP connector, and I'm also going to talk about AI Teammates, because the question I've been getting a lot is, when do I use which one? We've got AI Teammates, or we're exploring AI Teammates, but we've got Claude, so why would I want one or the other? And so in this video, I'm going to break that down for you so you can make the most informed decision for your team. First, I'm going to start inside of Claude here. We've got a Cirface team space, and as you know, or if you don't know, you can go into Customize and you can take a look at all your connectors. So in our case, we've got both the custom MCP connector through Asana. We've got the native connector. I don't actually need both of them, but I'll show you that later. We've also got our DocuSign connected. We've got Fellow AI connected, which is our meeting note taker. So all of our call recordings can be accessed through Claude. And then for each user that authenticates, they can connect their Gmail, their calendar, Google Drive. We've got our HubSpot CRM here, Slack, and as you can see, we've got, many other options that we wanted to go through. And so I'm going to show you just an example of how we use it here at Cirface. I've got a project here. It's called our License Help Desk. And so as a partner of Asana, we resell licenses on behalf of Asana to our customers. And a lot of the times we have to bring context from multiple places. And so inside of Asana, we have a license project where we handle all of our active licenses. We know how many users they have. We know the price that they are paying. We know when the renewal date is, and we handle all of that information inside of Asana. But if we need to get more context on the account, if we need to look at, what the active state of a deal is, or what was agreed to on a recent call, or we need to see what the latest communication was, or when the next meeting is, that's when we come to the help desk. So the biggest difference is that when you are inside of Claude connecting to Asana, you can come in and again, you look at your connectors, but now I could say, give me the status of the Johnson accounts. Obviously, I'm not going to give you my actual customers' accounts. Everything here is blurred for a reason. And so in this case, the instructions that I've given it are to go out. You're going to check inside of our sales task project inside of Asana. You're going to check inside of our license subscription project, also inside of Asana. Here's the project ID for that. And then you're also going to check HubSpot. You're going to check the deal status, the pipeline stage, the deal value. In Fellow, you're going to check the meeting notes. In Gmail, you're going to check the recent emails, calendar, Slack, DocuSign for any recent documents, order forms, SOWs, to get a full picture on what's actually going on there. And so here's an example of how we could use this for this licensing project. I could say, give me the status of the Johnson account, and it's not going to be able to pull up a Johnson account, obviously, but it's going to go through the steps. It's going to think about it, and it's going to come back and it's going to say, hey, I can't actually find anything on Johnson. But if it did, it could say Johnson's renewal is, July 27th. Yeah, no Johnson account, obviously. It could say July 27th is the renewal date. And I could say, great, can you please go and, create a task to reach out to them, right? So it could push that into Asana. It could access that license subscription project. It could double check the due date, or I could say, what rate are they paying right now for their licenses? And it can pull and push that information directly inside of Asana because I've given it right capabilities in there, right? So that's one way you can look at it. But what I really like about this option is that it is giving us access to a bunch of different tools. Now, on the other side, if we take a look at Asana, and I'm going to create an AI teammate, where this is really powerful and where the concern often does come up is, how do we govern all of this? As you can see within Claude, this is a team space, but I could quickly switch over to my personal space. I have a personal max plan. And a lot of teams are doing that right now. And the problem with that is that they are connecting all of your tools at your organization to their personal plans right now. And so if you don't have proper AI governance and policies in place on what data should be entered into these LLMs, or who should be entering this data in, or what form the data should be in, and your customers don't actually want their data inside of these, then you could get yourself in a little bit of trouble. And then there's also shadow IT that's happening all of the time. And so from a governance perspective, without the correct guardrails and, policies in place, you could get yourself into a little bit of a pickle when it comes to using Claude and accessing all these connectors. So if you are doing this, make sure that you're going into your account and you're, giving like, I'd access my organization here, and you'd say, I want these people to have access to these tools, and typically it's only the admins that would say what tools you can access. If we go back to Asana now, what I really do like about this is it creates those guardrails. It creates that governance layer that a lot of teams are missing because you can create an AI teammate. So if I go into my launch planner, for example, it's got a few integrations. You connect it with the web, you can connect it with Google Drive, SharePoint. It can write files inside of those different repositories as well, but you have a closed environment. Right? It's not accessing Fellow. And yes, you could use the Fellow Asana MCP connector to pull notes in, and then you can use that context. That's what I do. And a lot of our team members do that here is we take our Fellow notes, we put them into a project. So whether it be a client project or, a sales type project, and then we can access it there. Then the teammate has access to it. But then you have your administrator who needs to say, yes, you can use this tool, or yes, you can use that configuration. Yes, you can add apps to our Asana instance. And so you have this closed environment. And in any case, when someone is building, they can only give the teammate access to the projects and tasks and spaces that they have access to. And so if we go into our work here, we're adding apps from a short list that you say your team can have access to. So if you're a Google shop, you'd probably lock off Dropbox and Box in this case, and vice versa if you're a Microsoft shop. You can connect your URLs, public URLs where it can pull from. You can upload information. You can add your attachments in here, and then apps. You have a very short list of apps that you can use, right? So this can be very helpful if you don't want people bringing in a lot of their tools. And then what's nice is the AI teammates, they are directly on the Asana work graph. And so they are connecting to the actual work itself. They have context on all the work inside of here. And compared to what I've seen with, the Claude Asana MCP connector, is that unless you distinctly tell it to go and look inside of this project or go and look inside of a space, it's not always going to know to do that. What I really like about the AI teammates is, one, you have a much more narrow scope, but these agents can act semi-autonomously. So a launch planner or a status update planner or any of the other, number of planners you can get started with or assistants you can get started with, they can work within your context. They don't need a human in the loop all the time behind a chat screen saying, do this, do that, validating every single request and saying, now take the next action. These are working semi-autonomously on your behalf, or you can give them instructions to, on a schedule, go and execute a certain task. And they're often just looking over your work, hovering for things to do. So a status reporter once a week is going to go in and it's going to cross-reference all the relevant projects that are connected, maybe inside of a portfolio, right? And it's going to pull status from all of those. It's going to tell you if a due date slips and you need to address, a potential risk. It's going to surface that information to the right people. And it's going to do that at the organizational level. When we're back in Claude now, we're in our chat. Let's go to our Johnson example because I don't want to give you any information on my customers. Within this, you have a one-to-one conversation. There's me, the human, and then there is Claude, right? And there's the context that I'm giving it, and it's taking instructions from me. So I have to be here all the time working with it and then pushing certain information to Asana and validating all of that. So if I go back to the project here, I could share this with my team. Like a lot of these are shared chats. This is a shared project here I can share with my organization, right? So people can access this, but they're not going to see my private chats. They're not going to see the conversations that I've had. Whenever they come in and authenticate, they're going to have to come in here to the connector. They're going to have to authenticate their own Fellow instance. They're going to have to authenticate their own Gmail, their own calendar, their own Drive. And again, they're going to get access to the things they have access to. So this is where it could potentially create inconsistencies in the data. And if you need that data to collectively make a decision or an observation on a state of work to report to other people, then you don't have a source of truth that you can trust. And maybe, there's the schools of thought where, there is no source of truth, but there are different data points and we're constantly pulling data. But if you can't trust the state of the data, or if you only have a small picture of the larger data set, then you're setting yourself up for many inconsistencies. And so this is not a comparison on which one's better or which one's worse. There's lots of great use cases for both of them. But if your main goal is to align the people, the work, the conversations around the work, the context around the work, AI Teammates is the clear, winner or leader in this case, because again, you can improve your governance. You know that the data is in a state where you can trust that data. You have multiple people looking over that data. Multiple people can input into that data. Multiple people can interact with your AI teammates. Any context, any memory that it has as well is all right here. It's not closed off to that one person in the one-to-one chat. So hope that helped. There's so many nuances to this, and every single day AI is improving and we're using it different ways. And so if there's something that I might have missed or if I got wrong based on my experience, let me know in the comments. But I hope this helped for you to understand the differences so that, again, you can make the most informed decision for your team on which of these tools to use. But as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.